So, after many months in which it looked like all the hard-won democracy in the Labour Party was evaporating and the party plunged ever more into political chaos, has the Supreme Court now restored order to the party? Or has it, by its latest judgment, created more confusion? Has it affirmed the national chairman of the Labour Party, Julius Abure, in office, or removed him from office? Well, after months of tense uncertainty, it appears to depend on who you ask. One thing is sure, and that is that this has been the Labour Party's worst political crisis in a long time. So, has the Supreme Court served up justice or not? Does the court's verdict end the Labour Party's political crisis, or is the party likely to remain still very deeply polarized?
The Supreme Court looked at the cases and said that no, that since the two lower courts have found that the substantive dispute was the issue of leadership of a political party, that they had no jurisdiction to pronounce Abure as national chairman of the party, and that their judgments were not out of jurisdiction, and they set aside the judgment. And also the Supreme Court went ahead to make the point that political parties, on the need for political parties to be well guided by their constitution and guidelines, especially on the issue of tenure of officers. And that Julius Abure's tenure, he has outlived his tenure. So that is the purpose of the judgment. And that the issue of who determines leadership of a political party is entirely within the domestic realm of a political party, and not for the two lower courts to look at. So that is essentially what the Supreme Court did today. By necessary implication, Julius Abure, from our understanding of the judgment, ceases to be the national chairman of the party, having outlived his tenure.
Well, for more on this, I'm joined now in the studio by the National Deputy Chairman of the Labour Party, Olorunfemi. Thank you very much indeed for coming in.
Thank you.
So what is your reaction to this Supreme Court ruling? Is Julius Abure still the National Chairman of the Labour Party or not?
Obviously, he's still the chairman, national chairman.
What's obvious about it?
Obviously, because the Supreme Court came out clearly to clearly express his judgment, reflecting the fact that the issue of leadership of any political party, including Labour Party, is an internal affair and can only be determined by the party. And when you ask me this question, who is the party? The party is the constitution of the party. Everything that has to do with the party is entailed in the constitution. And by Labour Party constitution, you have what they call the ward ESCO. You have the local government ESCO. You have the state working committee. And you have the national working committee. You have the national executive committee. And you have the national convention. Now, in all of this, those who have gone to court, are they members of any of these organs? The court only came out to tell us in clear terms, don't bring your matter to us when it has to do with leadership, because you have your constitution, we can't continue to deal with your matter. That is exactly, and as a matter of fact, even at the High Court, if you look at that judgment very well, the court denied jurisdiction and said, look, we don't have any business talking about leadership of the party. But if I have to look at your convention, whether it followed due process or not, I will confirm that the convention, the national convention, followed due process.
Well, the court couldn't have said that.
He said, well, he couldn't have said that. He said it.
Because the court ruled that the tenure of Mr. Abure has expired, essentially agreeing with INEC.
He did it. Have you gotten the CTC of that judgment?
Which earlier invalidated...
Wait, have you gotten the CTC of that judgment?
We have our correspondents.
So if you have your correspondents, hold on. Please get the CTC.
Let me make the point.
Yeah.
We have our correspondents who are in court,
okay,
or who were in court, and we trust our correspondents 100%.
So what if the CTC is now here, and what we see in the CTC is the fact that the judge, the court, was talking generally to all political parties.
Did the panel say anything about the tenure of Mr. Abure?
No. He talked about tenure of all political parties. That you are expected, if your tenure has expired, You are expected to make yourself available for a re-election, or you go out. That is generally, it's a generic something. Talking about political parties in Nigeria, political administration in Nigeria, is just a kind of opinion and advice to all political parties. Because the issue of tenure did not go before, it was not taken before the cut.
Yeah, well,
are you with me?
You seem
the issue of the National Convention was not taken before the cut.
You seem to be one of the people who is insisting that it wasn't brought up, whereas a lot of other people, especially people who are totally objective, they're not members of the party, they're simply people doing their job, going to court to note what the court has decided. They made a point of emphasizing that the court ruled that the tenure of Mr. Abure has expired, essentially agreeing with INEC, which earlier invalidated Mr. Abure's leadership, saying the party failed to meet legal requirements for holding its convention and insisting that Mr. Abure's tenure ended in June
has any court invalidated
2024.
Has any court invalidated that National Convention?
Well, let's move on from that, because there's no point. There's no point. Well, we haven't got that much time.
Okay.
Obviously, the rival side doesn't agree with you.
They don't have to agree because they don't even belong to the structure of the party.
Well, the question that I must ask you then,
the neck that you are talking about, that sack the Abure, that is not neck. It's the convocation of some people who believe they want to hijack the party.
Right.
That doesn't belong to any organ of the party.
The points you're making are neither here nor there.
That is the fact. Look at the Constitution.
Look
at the Constitution.
I don't want to. I'm not a member of your party.
I've just told
and
you
I don't want to get bogged down.
Are they member of NEC?
No.
Look at the list. Are they member of NEC?
I don't want to get bogged down.
The membership of NEC comprises of the chairman and secretary of all the 36 states in the federation, including FCT. It also includes all the NWC members.
Can I just make this point?
NSC has 2 members in the NEC. Can two people? Can
I make this point?
Yeah, make the point.
The important thing here, listening to you and listening to the other side, is that this ruling by the Supreme Court is not likely to bring the Labour Party together, and it's not going to help it find a better footing for its future. No. In other words, listening to you and listening to the other side, the party is going to remain deeply polarized.
No, the party has a constitution. And the Supreme Court said, go and abide by your constitution. And the constitution is the grand norm. And that is exactly what we are doing. The people you are talking about do not have any space in the constitution. Nenadi is not in the constitution. Caretaker committee is not provided for in the constitution. So it's nowhere.
Right. Let me ask you this. If that ruling by the Supreme Court is read another way and Julius Abure is forced to stand down, is it you who might take over from him as national chairman? Would you be in the running for that position, or will you sink with him?
The decision to take that decision lies in the neck.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is
let
that
me tell you the way.
If the leadership, the entire leadership would go with him, would it?
Wait, if the National Executive Council takes a decision today that Abure should step aside, you have seen the way PDP ran the affair. It's not somebody. It's not the president. It's not the governor of one state that will say, "Oh yeah, go." It's not. It's the power lies in the structure of the party, the NWC or the National Executive Council. Now, the National Executive Council is not saying Abure should go. The National Working Committee didn't say Abure should go. All of these organs are united, and that is the party. And that is what the Supreme Court is saying, that party is supreme, and the decision of party is supreme.
The point is that the Labour Party, it doesn't matter how you cast it, is very divided at the moment. Given how divisive a figure Mr. Abure has been, shouldn't the party be focusing on finding a replacement for him as the way that the party itself might survive?
Not in the manner it is being put together. You will recall that some people have called that guy thief when he didn't steal anything. When they discovered that the issue of
the 3.5 billion.
Yes, which didn't happen. They have said the forge, which didn't happen. Now, he worked very hard during the 2023 election. All of us saw it. In fact, I pitied him. Now, having worked like this, we want to disgrace him? God in heaven will not allow it. These people are wicked. And that is why the country is not moving forward. They will sit down somewhere because you have money, because you have power. You look at these people and say they don't have power, so you can deal with them. We are dealing with us now, but they know we have God and we have power. We have the people behind us. These people are not up to 10% of the total number of Labour Party members across the country. We did the evaluation of membership. We have over 250 people registered into that platform. None of these people are there.
How much damage do you think all this has done to the image of the Labour Party amongst Nigerians?
Well, Nigerians are watching.
Obviously.
We have bad people in Nigeria. We have people with bad influence, and we have people with good influence. The good people are with us. You can't destroy people for doing nothing and expect people to now join you to kill that person. I will not be party to it. If I go down today on this, see, I have many addresses. Labour Party is not my first address. I have the first address, I have the second address, I have the third address, I have the fourth and the fifth address. I'm also a pastor, and I don't eat from the church. What is this? You are saying they say politics is dirty. That is the reason. But everybody is running away. They want to participate in politics because of these kind of things. And you think the country will move forward? These are hypocrites. At the appointed time, we will expose more.
Okay, well, just to make sure that the other side of the Mason-Dixon line, as they say, they also have the right to come and challenge the things that
you should put us together.
Abure Olorunfemi
you should put us together.
And
I want to see.
we would be more than happy to
we will expose so many things
assuming the other side wants to do it.
Let's come together.
It would be incredibly illuminating, let me put it that way. I want to thank you very much indeed for taking the time to come in.
Thank you very much.
Abure Olorunfemi is, for now, the National Deputy Chairman of the Labour Party. Thank you very much indeed.